How's it going, everybody? I'm tired as hell because I just got back from the debate tournament and we actually went really far into the tournament. Yay, children. But that meant we had to stay late. Well, in the United States, we have a holiday called Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is on Monday. That means there's a 3-day weekend for all of us that work in education. And that means it's time for a reading vlog. So the finals for the SPFBO, the self-published fantasy blog off. A certain reviewer told me I was mean for saying self-publishing is equivalent to writing a blog. Well, they don't call it the self-published fantasy blog off for nothing, Nico. Anyway, I thought it would be a good experiment this 3-day weekend to read 2 formerly self-published books. So they're going to be The Martian and Legends and Lattes that have been picked up by traditional publishers. And then I'm going to read 2 SPFBO finalist books. Roll the intro. So I just read the first 2 chapters of A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah, I believe that's how you say. And I'm ready for bed. I'm very tired. I'm also pretty confused. Abdallah could have totally just cut out the first few pages because there's a lot of characters just talking to each other and walking from room to room. It's actually something called talking head syndrome, where nothing's happening. Characters are just talking to each other for the purpose of exposition, and in order for it to feel like the plot's moving forward, the characters walk places. And he really actually could have opened with a funeral pyre scene of the main character's brother being burned at his funeral. That would have been a great opening image, but I guess no one told him that. I don't know. And I'm also really confused because Adrian, our main character, is like kissing and hugging his fiance in the first chapter, and then in the second chapter it's saying she's dead. I don't know how much time has passed. It doesn't tell us. So I'm a little confused. Because he's talking about his girlfriend's death and his brother's death as if they happened for the same reason or at the same time. But it could just also be that I'm so damn tired that I cannot, focus. But, I'm gonna go to bed now. And this is definitely not the worst opening to a self-published fantasy novel I've ever read. It could use work, but it's not terrible. Good night. I just figured it out. The first chapter was not the first chapter. It was a prologue. So that's why the fiance wasn't dead yet in the prologue. She's dead now because I just read chapter 1 and the first chapter was a prologue. That's why I was confused. So girlfriend is dead. How we died, I don't know, but she is in fact dead. I often say that I am an active reader, and this is what that means. I'm in a drive-through line, and I'm going to use the Kindle app on my phone to read a little bit. This is how I get through a lot of books. I have a very short attention span. Plus, I don't really like to watch TV because it takes too much attention. So, while I am waiting for my drink, in the freezing cold, gonna read some more A Touch of Light. 12% through A Touch of Light, and I can just tell you now that it's not professional quality. I mean, this sounds bad, and I often get a bunch of crap for just discouraging self-publishing. But I want you to think about this. Who was the best American fighter pilot in World War I? You don't know, do you? Well, his name's Eddie Rickenbacker. He shot down 22 enemy planes. The German ace. You know who that is? His name was Manfred von something or other. But you know him as the Red Baron. Who wrote A Touch of Light? Well, it's a guy named Thiago Abdallah. And, I commend him for writing a book the same way I commend people in World War I who never even got a kill. But the Red Baron shot down 80 planes. Do you think the pilots in World War I who shot nothing are in the same league as the Red Baron? No. There is a level of difference, and I'm glad there are people out there who enjoy these self-published books, but the fact that this was nominated for any kind of award just sort of speaks poorly to the self-published industry. And I don't know people's reasons for self-publishing, the reason for wanting to go this route, but I will never encourage my students to do it because there's a level of difference. I was talking to my friend about this book, and I told him it was better than Argyle's, but still not very good. And his response was that, maybe it's just a fantasy thing because he can't tell what's self-published and what's not, kind of like in romance. Well, that's because he's not trained to, and neither are most book or author tubers. So they don't know what to look for. But I'm trained to search this stuff out and make books better. That's my job. That's how I make my living. I'm a creative writing teacher. And once you start noticing the mistakes, like describing a fight without much reflection, there's lots of fight scenes in A Touch of Light where it just describes characters as moving sideways or rolling around on the ground or taking an uppercut into somebody's jaw. We need description. We need the five senses. So it's like telling versus showing. Don't just tell us about her movements. Did she taste blood in her mouth? Did she feel as if her lungs were about to burst when she slammed on the floor? Did her vision become nothing but a veil of black when she was punched in the face? These are the kind of immersive nuances that are so different than just saying she swung around and bashed a person's head and blood squirted out. What's going on in their head? What are they seeing? What are they feeling? What are they smelling? And when you leave stuff out like this, it's obvious. These really successful trad pub writers that have been winning Booker Prizes or getting bestsellers, like, they've taken classes in this stuff. They've been taught, and it works. More people have purchased Wolf Hall than they have this self-published book I'm reading. More people have purchased Game of Thrones or Harry Potter or traditionally published fantasy books because those nuances that readers don't notice make them stand out. And when you are trained to look for this kind of stuff, you notice it even when a general audience doesn't. That is why getting yourself in an MFA program or creative writing class is so important, because you will stand out in a crowd of just halfway decent writing if you know these tricks of the trade, so to speak. I'm at the 20% mark. I'm about to go home from work. I just don't know if I'm gonna keep going. I really want to make it all the way through. It's a little long. It's like 450 pages. At this point, I don't know where the story's going. There are a bunch of point of views of people, and it's just, there is no story so far at the 20% mark. And it's a little mind-numbing to read when nothing is happening. I'm going to take a break because I don't know if I'm burnt out or if this book has single-handedly killed my joy of reading, but I just can't do it right now. So I'll get back to you. True, I did end up reading some more. So that's about 115 pages out of like 450 pages. I don't know. My math sucks, but it's 27%. And as far as I've gathered, we have two main characters. One is a prince who was like the younger son of the better older brother who died, and his fiance died too. So his goal is to somehow resurrect his fiance. Death is kind of an all-encompassing, like, big preoccupation with all our characters and everything that's going on in this world. And then our second character is a female hunter, clanswoman, who I believe was a prisoner at one point, has some kind of curse on her, and is trying to make her way to a tree to rid herself of the curse. And I believe they're in a city right now, and there's some kind of senate there are riots, and evidently there are going to be griffins in this book. I have yet to come across a griffin. So I'm going to suss it out tomorrow as to whether I'm going to keep going. I'm very tired. It's cold today.
At this point, I just am really beaten down. I want to film this vlog because I want to experiment and I want to get a video out on BookTube. I love BookTube. We're really the greatest community on the internet. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt in that. But, you know, it's been rough. This book is awful. And I have 3 more books to read. I'm at 1 a.m. Sunday morning of my 3-day weekend. I'm a teacher. We are overworked. Work right now has been shit. I actually have been having a terrible time at work recently, and this is my weekend. And I don't, for the sake of a video, want to stress myself out because I make this stuff for fun. So I'm gonna continue playing The Sims, as you can see right there, and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Sunday afternoon. This is my new desk, and I've got Finn here so that you can see him. My hair is all messed up, so is my bed in the background because I have insomnia. And guys, it got dark last night. It got very, very dark. I was lying there wondering what the hell I'm doing with my life. I was also in a lot of physical pain yesterday and the day before because I think I slept on my back and my neck weird, so we'll go with that. I've DNF'd a touch of light, and I'm quitting this vlog. This is going to be the outro. It was a fail. And I wanted to do this because, and I've said this before, I wanted to be wrong about self-publishing, and I haven't been yet. And I did this because you guys know I get a lot of crap about self-publishing, and I see booktubers, some I like, some I'm not so friendly with anymore, doing these indie showcases or like self-published spotlights on their channel, and they're just giving rave reviews to these books. One of them is A Touch of Light. One of them was Threadlight. And I started to wonder if maybe these booktubers who do this, maybe there are 2 things going on. 1, they don't notice the mistakes. Or 2, they do notice them and they don't care. Or 3, they're lying. And I'm not saying they're lying. I'm saying I have watched these booktubers a lot. And if you watch enough of their content, you will notice them start to say things like, you know, I didn't feel like I was reading a self-published book, or this was very professional quality. This was so polished. It didn't feel self-published. This is better than any self-published book has a right to be. And so maybe I was right in the beginning. Maybe these booktubers are being disingenuous with their reviews and just trying to be nice or just trying to get views. I don't know. I can't speak for them. But I can 100% say I am done giving self-published books a chance. This is a 3-day weekend. I need this 3-day weekend because shit at work sucks right now. And if I'm going to make it through the spring semester. I do not need to be stressing myself out and having huge, like, existential crises at 3 in the morning uh, because of books. So I will eventually read The Martian and Legends and Lattes. I thought that this vlog would be a good idea because I, quote, needed to read those other two books anyway. I'll read them. I have plans to read Project Hail Mary, but this might be the most depressing video I ever put out there. But I put Finn's little happy face in here just to make it all that much better. So guys, I will come back with better content eventually. I need to regroup. Last week was the first week back since Christmas break, and it was really rough, and I had debate stuff going on, and I kind of got pushed around like the dog for a while, and it's been blah. So I'll be back. I'll have a better time next time. And from me and Finn, what do you say, Finn? We say keep reading, keep writing, keep loving words, and I'll see you next time. Bye.